Parade of grafters.
Ding, ding.
Well, we got a bunch of alcohol-frees for the sake of your severity.
We do, yes.
But
much. Thank you very much.
what do you reckon to a JMO's though?
But also we have something to keep me off the.
I'll pour these. So, are you in Leeds now?
I'm back in Leeds for till end of May, basically, just for a
Okay.
couple of weeks. I've got basically got a last minute visit for a couple of weeks because I've got a lot of mess after pandemic and Brexit to deal with.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't get anything done online.
So where are you calling home at the moment then?
So I live full time in Warsaw now.
Okay.
Full time.
And is that going to be for the foreseeable?
It's a long story. I've got no control over my life at the moment.
Oh,
I'm them temporarily. So I love visiting Warsaw, where I'm from, obviously.
Yeah.
But I hate living there. Like, it's a great city. I just feel horrible when I'm there because I just kind of, when you start traveling and living all over the place, when you go back home, it's kind of sometimes like
back to square one.
oh shit. I mean,
Well,
right, let's do it.
Let's cheers to the catch up. It has been far too long.
It's been far too long. It's been a good few years. We've seen each other. No, so we each other last year. Cheers.
Oh, last time you were in town, we tried to hook up, but
Yeah.
I think between shifts and myself, no, didn't happen. So
Didn't happen. Yeah, because I was keeping very low key as well. Just kind of. I've been here again, just dealing with adult stuff. So I was like, my party days are over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm here, just dealing with that, hanging out with pals, staying with Sam Hodgson at the moment.
Nice.
So that was like last minute thing as well, because I was planning to come over here, but then like tours and things, whatever. And Sam messaged me a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, just so you know, Joe went away for a few months. So if you ever need Leeds, need a place to crash, I'm like, you're welcome. And then Chrissy from Wax messaged me like, oh man, shame you're not here. I need someone to do a couple of shifts. I was like, hang on a second. 24
I can connect these dots.
36 hours later, I was in a plane. So it was like really last minute thing. So I was like, this way, if I can do a shift or two now and then, that gives me some kind of pocket money, and I can hang out with pals, see everyone.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen. Yeah.
So how are you working the whole tours thing then? If you say you just got back and. I mean, that one seemed like it was a pretty last minute one as well.
Yeah.
Are you just like somebody shouts as you ended up in Leeds in the same way? Is it just like somebody will say, I've got something in July, what do you reckon? Or
It's basically, that's basically how it works at the moment,
so
kind
it's
of like last minute.
3 months to 3 months.
Yeah, exactly, because I've got so much things to do to catch up after Brexit and pandemic, and it's just, and it's pain in the ass. I'm kind of like, can't make any plans for longer than a month or two, because I don't know what's going to happen. There are things, living between two countries, there are things which I got left mess here, and I can't deal with that online when I'm in Poland.
Yeah.
So like after pandemic, I mean, I'm financially fucked. I bet the professional term is fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, but you had a good time though.
Oh, I had a fantastic time. But yeah. So I kind of, just trying to figure out what I can do and when, you know what I mean? So it's like back here dealing with that mess, dealing with all the things there. But yeah, it's getting there.
How did you segue into the touring stuff initially? Because you were, as long as I've known you, you've just been behind the bar. And then all of a sudden you were disappearing.
And I disappeared and I started doing other things.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it for a very long time. By the way, I'm looking at your phone and is that red thing should be that loud?
Yeah, I think that'll just be when you're laughing.
Fantastic. Oh shit.
There we go. We're on another.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
I'll lower it a bit. I'll do it. Anyway, you've got a big ass voice.
I used to work in Santiago's for years and years and years, and Santi's being a place when all the bands used to hang out a lot and all of that stuff. And also used to work there with Paul, Jonty, and everyone who used to tour, and I was thinking about changing my career a little bit.
I was going to say you're going to smoke that thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I don't like smoking straights. I'm a rollies kind of a guy, but. And Ian from Far Beyond Driven was looking for someone to drive at the time, and I think Jonty messaged him first, and I kind of hooked me up with him. And then, start doing couple driving jobs for Ian, because I used to drive big vehicles when I was a kid as well. So
what sort of bands were you getting with?
Excuse me.
Doors?
trying to think. I was trying to think today who was the first band I ever driven, and I'm not sure. Like the professional, let's say.
Yeah,
like
or just anyone
Ian.
really. It doesn't
But
really
first
matter.
time ever was with Tim Loud and Nico from X-Ray Cat Trio.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, that was just three of us in my old shit Peugeot partner traveling. I mean, like I was like, did it like 42 days in
Fucking
all
hell.
over Europe, like squads,
Yeah,
small
yeah.
venues, DIY as hell. So that was like the first tour I've done. Yeah, just DIY, punk as hell.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking the first one which I done for via Ian, I think it must be this girl called Rachel Yamagata, and I did like 4 days with her, like London, Manchester, and something else if I remember correctly. And then and I started driving some small bands from Leeds to London and back, and then slowly but surely start getting bigger jobs. And it's been an adventure and a half. Yeah,
With a business like that, you've got to kind of do the smaller runs just to kind of build up the credibility and.
exactly. You know,
Yeah,
put your
yeah.
foot in that, and like no, also like that's how I kind of like doing things as well. Like even years working in bars. If I
Yeah.
start working in a new bar, I like to ask the people like just give me the shittest job for the first couple of days so I can learn how you're doing these things. So I was cool with the touring as well, starting like a smaller bands, London and back, and just usually people start doing this job in their 20s when they're younger.
Yeah.
I started in my 30s, so I was like 10 years behind everyone else who was in that business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All our old pals which were into it, I was like, oh shit, I need to catch up. But luckily, had some good people teaching me tricks of the craft.
Yeah, and it's definitely kind of it's given you a fair old few adventures. You've been getting around. What was the? Cause you've been to the States twice now.
No, I only been in States once. And funny enough, that wasn't really a tour. It was funny because that was a traveling from a.
It wasn't a tour, it
is-
was a travelling. That sounds like
It's
a tax job.
Yeah, exactly. Hang on, I got to use my connections whenever I can.
Yeah.
So that was the adventure of a year basically, because I meant to do a tour with a guy called Joshua Ray Walker.
Oh yeah, is that the big lad?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that was
yeah.
the tour which was cancelled last minute and stuff like that. Or last minute, a few
Oh,
weeks in
okay.
advance, stuff like that. Like not his fault, nobody's fault. Things happen.
Yeah.
And I was a bit gutted, and I was just sitting back home. I was like, shit, I'm fucked again. Need to find some shifts in the bars again. I don't want to do it. I'm too old. And then our pal, Tom. This is embarrassing now. I forgot Tom's second name.
Bellhouse?
Tom.
Bellhouse?
No, Tom was called me. He needed a driver for the skins. Tom, big Tom. Oh, big tall guy, big guy. Oh my God.
I don't know any big tall Toms.
You know him. Oh my God. Well, this is embarrassing.
Anyway, we'll
now.
put a pin in it and come back to Tom.
That's the one. Yeah, he dropped me a message. He dropped me a message like if you need a driver. So I was like, all right, cool. So I came over to UK for a couple of weeks, and I booked my flight from Warsaw to Leeds for 18 days, and I didn't get back home for 164. I left the keys to my friend to water my plants, and she ended up looking after my flat for 6 months, basically almost. So I did that. As I was finishing this first tour, my other pal contacted me. Hey man, do you wanna stick around in Leeds for a couple of weeks? Because I need a driver and someone to tech for this band coming from Canada in a few weeks. I was like, hell yes, I need some work. Hell yes. So I stick around in Leeds. Some sofa surfing again. Did that tour, and when I was halfway through that second tour, my pal, who I know because we did some tours back in the days in Europe, my pal from Dallas messaged me, hey, come over for a little visit for a couple of weeks. I was like, I've got a place in the van, we're going on tour. I'm like, hell fucking yes, I want to see all of that. So I landed in Dallas, and initially it meant to be like 2 weeks, and then it kind of like, hey man, if you got nothing to do, we've got a place in the van, you want to travel? I was like, hell yes. So I did 2.5 months traveling 14 states.
Okay, so
like
kind of
a very deep south from
makeshift roadie type stuff?
like nothing
just-
really, just hanging out, but it's kind of like just go for a little travel adventure.
Okay, yeah.
So that's it's like I was laughing that with my jobs, the best thing I've got in my life in these jobs is these friends and connections, because someone always gonna hook me up with something funny. So that was like basically the biggest adventure of my life, like 2.5 months all over like 14 states, deep south, really deep south, like I mean deep south. Los Angeles, New Orleans, and all that's like absolutely incredible. And so that's basically what happened. And then I moved my flights twice, and I landed in Leeds again just before Christmas. So I was drunk Christmas, and then just back in Leeds for a couple of weeks and back to Warsaw. We hibernating for a couple of months, just getting by, and then start getting tours again. So
I was going to say though, it's like initially I was thinking of asking on like how do you make the sort of, because you've been doing the touring stuff for a bit now.
It's been
but I was going to say, how do you make the two worlds kind of coexist, the touring and the bar stuff? And it feels like you're not really able to. You just kind of have to seat of the pants, see what comes next.
Literally, I mean, at the moment, I kind of come to realization recently that it's a bit, it's a bit frustrating at my age not to have stability when it comes to that. But also it has a charm, being like, way floating, whatever. And I just start saying yes to offers. I mean, that's what happened. Do you want to do it? Like, fuck it. Might as well.
Yeah.
And it's just happening. So luckily, I've been working at bars in Leeds for such a long time. That's kind of, I always got someone that can message if there's some shits going, someone so I can pick something. The same is in Warsaw, got a couple of places I can always kind of pick something temporary for you. I mean, few days, few weeks, few months, whenever needed.
Yeah.
And that between tours basically, and then gonna keep doing that for a little bit longer and then see what happens next. But it's been good so far.
So, what brought you to Leeds first? Let's get into that one.
That was so funny because I was thinking about it today when we were talking about what we're going to talk about today. And I was like, my therapist didn't convince me to go dig that deep into my traumas.
Well, we're going there. So
all right.
We've got the JMOs.
Whew, I'll have a cup of tea. So, like most of the pals who knows me, they kind of know this more bit of a story. I kind of moved here accidentally.
Okay.
It was complete accident. So I'm one of the first Poles which moved to UK after we joined European Union, and the borders were open.
What year was that?
That's a good question. 2004.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So my friend at the time from my hometown, he kind of ended up living here for whatever reason, and that's why I ended up living in Leeds. I kind of meant to came over just for like, I was, what was it like? I had like a few weeks, more than a few weeks, couple of weeks off uni, and I just meant to like come over for like a few weeks, maybe a couple months, that's it, like maybe 3 months top. And then that turned into 6 months, and then that turned into 20 years almost. And then and I'm trying to run away every few years, and I just keep coming back like this fucking shit boomerang. it's
Kamil the shit boomerang.
Exactly. Kamil the Polski boomerang. And it's just keep coming back. So I was my other pal at the time lived in Coventry, and I was like, I got nothing to do for a couple of months. Might come and visit my friends.
Is this yours or mine?
That's mine.
No, it's
that's
learn some English and go back, and then that turned into just years and years and years. As usual, the story of the immigrants like that. Met a girl, stick around for a little bit longer because of a girl. Girls have changed since multiple times. Leeds is still here.
But when you arrived in Leeds, though, what was the plan? Was there like, I'm going to go to Leeds because I know a guy and...
Absolutely no plan. It was as random as it could be, basically. I was talking with my friend. I hated my job at the time. I hated my uni. I was just trying to, do something. I was 19. No, sorry, not 19. I was 20. That was just before my 21st birthday. And we literally, from the moment me and my pal were sitting in my bedroom and having a conversation about it, 2 weeks later, I was on a plane with one-way ticket, £70 in my pocket, place to crash for a little bit.
We've got a very similar story.
Yeah. And literally and absolutely like almost no English as well on top of that. Like my English when I come over here was like literally yes, no, please, thank you, fuck off, Marlboro Lights, me, steal your job. Good. And I was like, that was about it. And get myself some bar backing job in Wilox, because that was my actually first job, first place I was working at in Leeds, like this pub. That's where Sebas is working now, which is so amazing. Listening to Seb talking about Wilox a couple episodes ago with you, and then that was my first job.
It's a fantastic spot that place.
It's amazing. It's still my favorite. It's funny how look at a lot of us job stealing immigrants, which I fall in love with that pub. I mean, whoever supported was like, this is absolutely amazing. Like this was made me fall in love with the British pubs. This is why I'm going wherever I go around the world now. I was like, oh shit, I want my pub.
No, Whitelock is it's a real tall order to hold up to.
It's beautiful. And it's when I it's all like nice and hip and fancy and all of that these days. But when I started working there, that was like city center. The manager was an ex-service crew guy and shit like that. It was a sketchy little place full of old folks and a little sketchy characters. and and I was.
So from Whitelocks, how did you? How long were you there for? Where did you
I was there for like on and off, I guess. First, I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Then I went back to Warsaw for like 6 months, a year. And then I moved back and I worked in Wilocks for more like 6 months, a year again or something like that. And that was like a solid chunk of my, like the beginning of my list and, how I kind of start meeting people as well. Everyone who I'm friends with now.
You stayed bar back in there? Or?
That was kind of like, that was funny, like how I... So like I said, like from basic as hell English, I kind of managed to get so quick to master that evil language that I end up like actually I've been supervisor on a shift like in the space of like 6 months.
Oh, brilliant!
It's weird. I always thought I'm shit like with languages. Turn out the education system was shit. Turn out when I'm actually forced to talk because. I have to learn the language, otherwise I'm not eating. Turn out, I'm a very smart motherfucker, very talented. So yeah, kind of like start bar backing, then working behind the bar, supervising. Then at some point later on, I end up living above Wilocks as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that was cool. Like the Turk's Head at the end of the alley. Yeah. So above that was a flat. And I used to live there for like a year or so. Yeah. You can't live more city center,
That was central.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like 15 plus years ago before the Trinity. So that was all these little dodgy streets and stuff like that. Like all the prostitutes. At the back, the dodgy alley with like lot of. Do
you know what? Down by Northern Monk, weird. That Water Lane. I used to work down there around 2004. And it was just nothing but prostitutes down that street.
Wild.
It was weird, like leaving an office job at 5:30 on an evening, and getting asked them questions just for trying to get home.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Well, we had some characters there, had some stories.
So from Whitelocks, where did you go next?
So from Wilocks, when I was working Wilocks, so at the time, Ultimate Skin. So at the time, Ultimate Skin was owned by Butch, this American guy, and he was drinking Guinness in Wilocks every time he was back in Leeds, and I was like living between Barcelona and Leeds and all that, and he offered me basically a job in a shop. Like we kind of become friends. As I hung out in the pub, I was like, "Have you ever done any piercing before?" I was like, kind of drunk when I was 16. Like at some fucking shit house party. I was like, "I'll send you to a little course. You can be a piercing in my shop." I was like, "All right, cool." And that's kind of like, start working in a shop, start hanging out with all the other bars around, get to know people, that's how it started. And I used to hang out in Santiago's at the time as well.
But wait, you became a piercer because the guy was like...
Yeah, I need a piercer in the shop. Like, literally, I tell you, I got no control over my life. Shit is just happening. It's like, all right, cool, yeah.
It's the best way to be sometimes.
So I had my piercing course in Widnes next to Warrington. Famously known for exactly. But that was fun. So I kind of started getting people hang out in all the bars, and I was hanging out with them guys in Santiago's quite often. And then at some point I was like, kind of my as well. I need some other bar job. Tired of pub. I want to work in a cool bar, cool things. And Santi's at the time was it's a funny thing as well. Santi's at the time was like a tiki bar.
I seem to remember that.
It's funny, like so many people do not remember that. And that used to be kind of like a tiki bar. So I started working there, and then that was like a beginning of my story in hospitality in Leeds and all the bars I was working at, and getting to know everyone.
Because I guess you could have done sort of day shifts at Ultimate Skin, and
then basically I was doing so basically that's what I was doing for do some piercing in Ultimate Skin a few times a week, then do some shifts in Wilocks, then in Santiago's, and it's kind of
oh wow
yeah, so that's basically what happened.
And then
yeah,
it came to a point, I guess, where I guess Dave was like, "Hey, maybe you're just
Maybe
gonna
it's-
be, maybe we need
maybe
you
it's,
full time."
yeah, exactly. I don't. I was thinking about it today. Like, how the hell did I end up landing this job? Like, did I was pesting Dave or what?
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
like, no idea. But yeah.
They just happen.
They just
sometimes.
happens, yeah,
and You're probably
exactly.
drunk at the time, so.
Because I definitely needed a job at the time.
No, I said
it's
you were
like,
drunk at the time.
Oh, yeah, I was. Oh, yeah, oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, I kind of get most of my jobs in my life because someone was drunk. Either me or someone else. Get my first job in Wilox because the manager time was absolutely Christmas shit-faced when I walked in with my CV without speaking any English. He was like, "Well, we never had a Polish guy working here before. Come tomorrow." I was like, "All right."
Wow.
And yeah, and I think the same was story with another Dave, Santiago's Dave. One of us must be very drunk, probably both of us. Come on, give me a fucking job. I definitely needed one at the time because I just moved. I think I just moved back from Poland, and I did a couple months in Wilox, and I was kind of like didn't have enough shifts or something like that, and I need something else. Because I remember there was a story. God, I was drunk a lot at the time. I remember there was a story when I think I was working Wilox. And I literally finished shift and I was walking back home drunk and I had the last 20 pounds in my pocket and I walk into a strip club, spend it on a dance and get back home. I was like, I need a new job because I literally have no money.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah.
So how long were you at Santi's for then?
So Santi's, I think like on and off over a decade.
Okay.
Like over a decade. Like, I don't know, 12, 13 years. I can't count it. Like honestly, it's...
Again, drink.
I just been exactly. I mean, like it's just so many drunk years, and kind of like I never kept a trace of my paperwork, which put me a lot of trouble with post-Brexit paperwork as well. And I can't figure it out. I was scrolling, through all Instagram photos, but I deleted my own Instagram. I was like, God damn it! I moved here. That was still MySpace. I don't have MySpace. I can't figure out how long and what exactly dates I was working there and doing what. So yeah. So that was Santis, yeah.
10 or so years.
God, like seriously, very long time, yeah, like on and off, because I kept I've been here for like a couple of years, then go back to Warsaw for a year, then here for a few years, then move to Krakow for a year. So it's kind of like back and forward for all this time. So it's yeah.
It's been a right adventure.
We'll
have a little quick segue a sec. Have a wet on this one.
Yes.
So what we're going to do, because you'd said that you were attempting the severity.
Yes.
For a little bit.
Yes.
I've got a range of, we've got some no and low alcohol fellas.
Oh, yes.
This first one is Tuol based, I think they're Scandinavian.
Ooh.
God, they are based in Denmark, and this is their relatively unlabeled, non-alcoholic IPA. They say, Enjoy this delicious non-alcoholic beer with all its complexities, crispness, flavour.
I'm enjoying it, but
while
it's
keeping a level head.
It's a bit.
There's something weird there, isn't there?
Yeah.
It tastes like fake alcohol.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It smells the part. It
Yeah.
smells like an IPA.
It's like it's got a passion fruit or something aftertaste.
It's a strange
tasty,
one.
but it's very kind of like, I don't want to say it, but it's a bit like, tastes like watered down beer, basically, yeah.
There's a strangeness to it, and I can't place it, but I wouldn't choose to drink that one again.
Yeah.
So we're going to run through a whole bunch of them, like I say.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd just give it a quick shout.
It's a good attempt of sobriety.
Sobriety.
That's the one, yes. That's the one.
That's how you say
when
it.
we started from the shot of JMO.
Well,
I'm really shit vegan, and I'm really shit at being
severity,
teetotal.
there's severity and there's tradition. It is what it is. So we're going to go through, we've got North Brewing's Peach Pale Ale.
Nice.
And we've got Mash Gang. Mash Gang dropped onto the scene with, I believe all these guys do is no and low alcohol beers. And they, check that can, they do
Love it.
real sick labels.
Nice.
They're really pushing about out with the sorts of beers that they're doing. So I
see,
think
if
my thought is that's going to be the bitch of the bunch.
It does have a skeleton skateboarding on a can, and if I would be drinking that morning a few years ago during pandemic when I decided to turn skateboarding again after 20 years, I wouldn't broke my elbow. We went to skate park at 6 in the morning.
So we got Mash Gang with the Rad Gold. That's a low alcohol tropical IPA or XPA, 0.5%. Northern Monk, it wouldn't be an episode without Northern Monk. So we've got Holy Faith, that is the hazy pale ale at 0.5%. They all say alcohol free, but then it's...
I think it's like technically you can name it alcohol free if it's up to 0.5 or something like that, which is, fine.
It's a fair one. And then we've got... well, I was in Northern Monk Refectory just picking these up, so cheers to the guys for that. And I figured I may as well pick up their light or low ABV Striding Edge,
nice,
2.8%.
Nice.
Oh,
so that's fantastic.
That at the end, as a sort of a, let's see how it compares to the others. But yeah. We can crack on with these. Unfortunately, feels like 2-all was not for us.
Yeah.
It is
I'll finish it. I'll finish it. I'm not going to waste a good beer, you know what I mean?
Or a bad one. Not that it's
even average one. No, that's all right. I missed craft beers. Honestly, I was so excited about today as well because the whole craft beer culture in Warsaw sucks dick.
Oh, okay. So what is Warsaw about then?
There is a like if you
Warsaw,
into Warsaw, yeah. If you're into cocktails, if you're into like premium spirits,
World War
cocktails,
II memorabilia.
Holy shit! That's amazing. But the craft beer culture sucks. There's literally like few breweries, and the beers are really good. Like the quality, they tasty as hell. They're absolutely amazing. But it's literally like few breweries. There's not much choice. The biggest company there basically start getting these very weird rules, kind of like ask bars or demand bars not to sell other brands of craft beer and stuff like that.
God.
So it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I think
it's like, this is the whole point of this beer culture, you know what I mean?
I know
like,
that one of my favourite aspects of, because I was kind of semi-involved in that stuff, and it's like my favourite thing was seeing just how, basically kind of like the hardcore scene was in the UK craft brewing scene.
Yeah.
There's a few motherfuckers, there's a few people that you don't talk about, like the Brewdogs of the world, what have you. But
the Middle World War.
yeah. But like totally across the board, everyone is cool as fuck with each other. These big ass companies, they are genuinely fucking lush with each other.
Yes.
We've because I'd be working the refectory when Northern Monk would have, say, a brew day with another brewery.
Yeah.
And just seeing how these people that are technically direct competitors
just
working
work
together,
you know.
And you'd kind of feel like there might be an element of like a gritted teethedness of just, we're going to pretend like we're all on the same team here. Time and again, it was always fucking nothing but good times.
That's the thing. Like that's how you build, community. That's how you build a business and all that stuff.
People just don't realize that you've got to be nice.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
What's the point? Like, I remember it was like there was like a first I don't know, vintage shop in Grand Arcade years and years ago next to Santis, and there was this lady. I don't remember her name now. I don't remember her name, but
Was it like near the
Lorna?
shop?
Might be. I don't know. Don't want to guess. But anyway, it got very because like there was few more shops start opening everywhere. People ask, "Oh, you're not worried? You got competition?" I was like, "No. The more shops are rather open, the more people are going to come in from York, from Manchester to do the shopping in Leeds." Like amazing.
Saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Lifts all the boats. Exactly. And and it was also always like a thing which I learned in Leeds, like how the bars used to work, how we have like a little community. Since I remember from the day zero working, when there was still, like when I started working Santis, it was Santiago's, Mojo, Reform, Sandinista, and North Bar. That's it. There was nothing else there. And the fact that we like kind of work together made the part of a town. It's so much better. This part of Leeds is just like amazing. The Merrion Street.
We were saying last week
more and more bars
with Jim that like the top end right now, because you've got like the sort of Wax, Grindouth, North, Cellar.
Exactly. And Salabar. Sorry, I forgot about Salabar. Wax didn't exist at the time. There was North Bar and Salabar. And Wax was a Sala at the time.
Merrion Street is ridiculous now. It's like they've got the bank holiday shenanigans next weekend as well, and
I remember them.
Consistently fucking great down there.
That's the thing. I mean, it's kind of not used to be like that years ago. So I mean, like working together, being pals, making this little community, made it better. I mean, so that's the same. I can imagine with the craft beers. Watching how everyone is working, in Leeds and all the little breweries, and like helping each other hang out, like amazing,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it's the way it's got to be. But I don't know. You can't really tell a business that they've got to be friendly with the competition if they're not feeling
If they
it.
don't
So
feel it. I think
is-
it's like, I think like that might change in Warsaw. There's some good beers, but it's not as amazing and massive as it's in Leeds. You like, walk into any bar and you've got 20 different cans from different countries and breweries and everything. I'm like, I will not have this one. I will not have this one. It's like you can actually try something different every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah.
And this is the peach effort. So you did end up back in Warsaw.
Yeah.
What? Because I know it was during lockdown. You were in Leeds at the beginning of lockdown.
Yes.
I think I only saw you. I saw you like we hung out once at yours, and then I saw you on the canal with Dave. I think one time.
Might be.
Mike,
yeah.
sorry, Mike.
Mike, yes,
We both did,
yeah. Oh shit, yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't really see you. I was walking the canals every fucking day in lockdown.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you ended up back in Warsaw.
I ended up back in Warsaw. So basically, what happened in pandemic was, when you're employed, you're getting your help from the government during pandemic. When you're self-employed, you're getting your help, but it's your last 3 years of your income as a self-employed and all that stuff. My problem was I started touring 3 years before pandemic, so my income for first couple of years was a joke. Basically, I was getting by. So when I get all the money during pandemic, I end up with £800 something, which meant to last me for 3 months. While my rent was 400 or something at the time, including bills, because my landlord raised the rent. Yeah, during pandemic, absolute scumbag. That's yeah. What radicalized you, Kamil? I don't know. But so I kind of like end up knowing with no money, absolutely fucked unemployed. I was doing some random jobs and everything. Helped my friends selling flowers at the market on a brigade. Helping people moving. Luckily, that was what's it called? Hyde Park Christmas time when everyone was moving.
I saw you with the van guy.
So I was a man with the van for a little bit. I was just doing
now.
just random things, just anything to get by. And I basically like ran out of money. So I thought like, all right, I'm going back to Warsaw for at least couple months or few months, because life is slightly cheaper there, and I had a place to crash for free and stuff like that as well. So I was like back there for a little bit. That didn't go as planned, because I didn't go back to Leeds after a few months, and I basically end up staying there. Now it's been like a year and a half, 2 years.
And you were working in a pizza spot.
And I end up working this pizza place, which is
It seemed really cool. They had like a really nice gang there.
It's absolutely amazing. Like the place is.
What's it called?
It's called Pizzaiolo.
Pizzaiolo.
Pizzaiolo. It's Pizzaiolo is Italian. Apparently, the pizza chef, the man behind the pizzas. And it's a cool place. It's kind of like I took Seb there, so Seb being absolutely amazing chef. He said that like he never had a pizza like that in his life, and it's absolutely mind blowing. It's the two pals of mine, which I used to work with in a bars in Warsaw. God damn, how many years ago? They opened this. They started from like a little kind of very continental way, bike shop and a pizza and coffee kind of a vibe, and then later on they opened this place, and it's Neapolitan pizza, but everything is done to like extreme quality, and everything is just amazing. Every single cheese is coming from this little teeny tiny family run farm, so everything's just like extremely good quality.
Yeah.
It's I don't know the details exactly, but it's kind of like I think she's Polish. He is from Italy, coming from the same kind of dairy farm background family. So they're running this little dairy farm outside Warsaw. So like if you know like Italian cheese, the burrata, apparently the youngest you can get is like 4 days in a shop, the freshest. Our was 2 days. When they make tomato sauce, you made it with hands. There's no blenders used. Every has to be all It's
little things like that. People don't realize if you do it with the machine, if the seeds get knocked up, it adds a bitterness
small
to
things.
it. Yeah.
I don't know the details of it. What's kind of funny is like one of our main pizzaiolo. We picked some delivery for him like one morning. I was like, what the fuck is that? It's like this big, big box heavy as hell. There was like 3 brick-sized books about pizza. He's an absolute magician, and had some training with him, like explaining. I was like, it's such and such chemistry behind this, and it's like if it's up to whatever 74 degree for 25 seconds, and this, and like everything is just so complicated and amazing, and he knows that shit. I mean,
It's like
and
you,
everyone
it's like you brewing green tea.
yeah, exactly. Like me being very, very, very posh with my green tea these days. But yeah, so like it's absolutely insane, beautiful food. Same as with cocktails, like nothing there is bought kind of thing. If it's like some kind of cordial, it's gonna be homemade, and it's like up to insane standards. And it's funny to watch it as well, because like when I moved to Leeds and I started working at cocktail bars, all the cocktails in Leeds were like so much better. Now it's kind of moved. Like the bottles I've seen on the back bars in Warsaw, I haven't seen anything like it ever, and it's insane. And yeah. But yeah, so that's a pizza place, and because of things like that, the details and how they were running it, kind of become the most popular place in Warsaw. Like literally, like 6 months in, and people were queuing for like 2 hours to get a table for a pizza and a drink. I'm like, you motherfuckers, and because like I'm good at talking shit and for hours and all of that, they hired me as a host, so I had to handle this, 50 people in a queue every day kind of a vibe, losing my voice. It was literally like Christmas, I lost my voice after December. Like I couldn't talk for a week. It was just so busy all the time, but the place is amazing. This is really tasty.
I'm not into it. It's a little thin for me.
A little sour as well.
No, I'm a fan of the sours, but
Yeah.
for me it's just the peach is definitely there. It's on the nose and the taste, but it's just just feels like it's like when you have a when you said about the cordial or squash.
Like
It's like a squash, but there isn't enough of the actual flavour contingent.
I might just be smoking too much, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, that's
Like a little
2 against
sour,
1, right? We got 2 against 1.
Each
We're
to their
feeling
own.
this. It's
Each
all
to
good.
their own, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It is what it is.
yeah.
But yeah, so you're in Warsaw.
So I'm in Warsaw. So I'm working in a place.
You work in the pizza spot.
Yeah, and because after years of getting my hospitality experience in Leeds, talking shit to randomers for hours, they kind of hired me there, and I was basically, my job was standing and talking to people. So when they're hungry and all of that stuff, they're gonna calm the hell down. And so that's basically, that was my job for quite a while.
So what I wanted to touch on as well is there was a brief situation we've been dealing with recently in the Ukraine.
Oh yeah, that thingy. Yeah.
So
that was this brief fling I had.
So war breaks out in Ukraine, and obviously huge humanitarian balls up. Yeah. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
Basically, it seemed like every neighbouring nation was taking in all of the refugees they could.
Yeah.
And then further out, and it is what it is. But you then ended up kind of running what seemed to be aid missions into a war zone.
Playing a shit Han Solo.
So taking the sort of taking, I guess, the sort of your driving pass.
So it's yes.
Grabbing where did the van come from?
So this is basically the story. Like last. Everything which comes, like me working in a pizza place, traveling US and all that, it all comes to basically this story as well. So basically, when the war started, there's about 60 of us.
And with Poland obviously being a neighbouring...
literally next door,
one of the neighbouring countries,
Exactly. So when the war started, in a pizza place, there was about 60 of us working together, which 20 of us were from Ukraine and Belarus. Yeah, so that was a very dark night. It's like that kicked in. Like we all kind of, even on your day off, you kind of we all went to back to work. Kind of
Yeah.
You don't even talk. We kind of just stare at each other. It's like, all right, have a shot. Don't talk too much, and watching your pals getting and their houses bombed in real life. It's a bit it's something, and so the guys who own the place, they have another business, basically related to bikes, cycling and all that stuff. They all massively into cycling. One of the boys cycle one of the coasts of US one as a holiday and stuff like that. They love this kind of stuff. They like the boys in the lycras and all that stuff. And so they have a van. Basically, they grabbed the van, went to Ukraine to grab the families of the staff, basically to safety.
Okay.
And I said, look, I have experience driving vans for hours and all that stuff, and also got fuck to lose really after the pandemic. I was like, might as well, and and I was like, come on, I've got a couple of days off next week. If there's anything to do, just give me a shout. And the boss said, well, if you want to go, grab a van. There's a warehouse somewhere in Warsaw. Go there, grab the blankets, grab whatever they got for you. Go to border. Deliver that to like all the charities which running everything there, which was just the weirdest, the most chaotic, the most insane thing I ever witnessed. But yeah, so I arrived there, did that. I was like, wow, like took me good couple hours of sitting in a van, like cigarette after cigarette, like, wow, this is dark. And that was middle of a winter as well. Well, that was February was it? February. Yeah.
It was
February, yeah. And so this part of the world is getting cold as hell.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, what I was doing first few days, like these 2 days turned into 5 days basically, and I was basically going like couple miles into Ukraine. There was a massive queue. I mean, couple miles long, few miles long, of like hundreds, thousands, depends on the part of a day and a week of people, mostly obviously women and children trying to cross the border. But crossing a border takes few hours because there's so many people. So basically what we're doing is just go to the border, pick as many people as you can put in a back of a van, and like 10, 15, 18, depends, and take them to the first refugee camp on a Polish border. So at least someone going to look after them there. They got some food, hot food, and place to crash and stuff like that. So that was the first plan, and I've messaged, and that's where Leeds comes to the rescue. And I really did not want it to make it social media public. I was like, I did not want it. I just want to. I used to be right social media whore before pandemic, and then I realized how evil that thing is, and I kind of didn't want to use it at all. But so I sent like a few messages, like a private message to my friends. I said, look guys, this is what I'm doing. If you want to chip in some money for diesel, because I'm paying out of my pocket, here's a chance to help out. And there was a lot of paths like, come on, make it fucking public. We've got some files, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I don't want it, like, do it. I was like, fuck it, I did it. And within a space of like 2 weeks, we made collectively, between all the pals, we made like 15 grand.
Wow.
And that was the wildest experience in my fucking life. My phone was red all the time. I'm driving, and my phone's like constant notification from PayPal and Instagram. And the first couple of days were just absolutely insane. Insane. So many people. And it literally, helper's high is a real thing. Literally cured my depression in a way. I literally, it's like the most uplifting story ever, basically, what happened. Because, it's a very weird perspective, because, I'm there. And from my friend's perspective in Leeds, and my friends in US as well, which is another part of a story which I can tell in a minute, it's like, it kind of looks a bit different. But like, when I'm in Warsaw, like, everyone is helping. So I'm kind of like, I'm no one fucking special there. And it's a bit weird, like, so my landlady give me a discount when she find out I'm going to Ukraine.
So I mean, what were
because
you
she was helping
doing?
out. What was that, sorry?
So you did the initial run. You were there for like 5 days, taking people to the border and what have you, to the refugee camps. You come back to Warsaw.
Yes.
This big funding spree just lands on you.
Spread, yeah. So.
And what was the money aside from diesel? Where'd that money go, and how did you use it? How long were you doing work for?
So we managed to do it. For I guess like a few months. It was very wild because it's none of us ever did anything like it in our lives. We all work in the bars.
You're also working a pizza job.
Exactly. I mean, all just like, it all started from the boys who run the pizza place, the owners, owner of another venue in Warsaw called Plan B, and there was there was another place called Rakieta. There was another owner. They kind of started doing that. Started like doing some crowdfunding. because they all have a lot of staff working on the venues from Ukraine, Belarus, and they also, fucking decent people, you know what I mean? So they start doing that, and I just kind of, jump on board because I had experience with driving and all of that. And so that kind of turned into like few months adventure. Adventure is not exactly the best word really, but it's funny to talk about it when you don't want to, it's a weird one. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
It's been so we started doing that, and it's like none of us had any experience. We kind of didn't know what we exactly doing, how to do it. But boys, after the first couple of runs, managed to get some contacts there. So we had a little warehouse somewhere where we can store the things we delivering.
So what were you delivering?
Depends what we could get. We basically decided that if we're gonna splash all this money quickly on something like, I don't know, let's say tourniquets or whatever, or first aid things, whatever, something, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean, or sleeping bags, whatever.
Yeah.
This money gonna go really, really short. But then there was a lot of other people which are organizing actual things, and we could organize shifting that. So the money was going to diesel. We managed to pay for a truck of clothes and equipment and all that from Scotland, actually.
Oh, wow.
I was one of the boys who was at the border. It was very weird how the networking was working there. It's like the charity networking on the border was insane. We worked I did job with someone from Canada, from US, from Spain, from Italy, from all over the world. But yeah, guys met someone on the border who said, "Oh, I live in Scotland, and I'm just trying to organize some more deliveries, like things we can organize." So we contacted him. So well, look, we can cover the diesel. You bring the stuff, and we kind of doing things like that. So it's kind of like we could buy clothes or things, whatever.
Like an agent,
but that
for
we would do it
yeah.
for like a week or two, and that's it. Money gone, whatever. So it's that with the money we've got, it's too much to just waste it, go on one go. But if we do it smart, we can deliver things for other people, so the money goes longer. It's a longer term, different kind of help.
Yeah.
So my friend is she works as a babysitter for this couple from Belgium, living in Warsaw, and they're both doctors. So they organize medical equipment, like the actual surgical equipment, for the for your broken limbs and shit like that. So she organized that. We organized the van with the money for diesel, then some extra, did some food shopping for, some kind of refugee camp or something. And we just packed the van, go wherever we could, had a place to stay, had a warehouse to store the things, and we just keep taking turns. I was going 1 week, I had a couple of stuff, then someone else was going the other week, just keep taking turns. And it's...
what was the American connection?
It's basically kind of like you're meeting people and you just start talking all right, what are you doing? It's like also, my thing was because after years of living in UK, with me speaking English better than Polish sometimes,
yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was always happy to talk with anyone foreign on a border, and that's how I end up, there was this guy from Canada, which my friends somehow know him. I don't know, whatever, but you meet someone and he used to be a sniper in Afghanistan and shit like that. And he's got some horrible story when it comes to wars and all that. And he's a veteran, and he had some PTSD and he had some horrible story. There was let's say I don't want to tell his story too much, but basically there was a documentary about him on a Canadian TV, because he was one of the only survivor of attack in Afghanistan, something like that. Very wild.
Okay.
So he basically, I think he's got some business in Canada, so he kind of packed his stuff and moved to Ukrainian Polish border for a few months, helping out.
Legend.
But yeah, so there's a lot of things like that, and also what really when I started doing that, I said online, I said I don't wanna get some likes, telling the grim stories and just to make it more popular. But I was I'm gonna try to make it a bit more positive. So I was trying to share things like that, and kind of work, and I get contacted with so many people. And my friend from Austin, from Texas, Justin, starts sharing my Instagram story as well. And so there was so many people contacting me, no mutual friends whatsoever. Man, I'm from fucking whatever, Minnesota. I don't know, whatever. Oh God, where was there was definitely someone from Portland, Oregon, or like places, like wild places.
Yeah.
My friend from lives in Korea, someone from Australia, and like people like start sharing that, like random strange people just messaging me on Instagram, like, man, I've seen your story, I'm sending you money, I'm a tattooist in Portland, I'm selling merch to you, I mean, do this and that.
Well, it was like,
and then
it was the situation transcended the politics. It was like it was a thing, but then it was the humanitarian aspect that everyone saw.
It was insane. It was absolutely beautiful. You know, like I kind of, you know, it was straight after pandemic. It was straight after my like absolutely horrendous depression I went through during pandemic. You know, it's like I went like fully shit and suicidal and all of that stuff. And then so when I start doing that, and I kind of start posting on Instagram like friends in Leeds who help out, everyone who amount of people who are getting in touch, getting involved. I was like, you got this like feeling of community in that shit, and it was absolutely the most like insane experience to watch how humans can get together when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
It's shame we're not getting together when the shit is not hitting the fan, to be honest. It's shame it takes, you know what I mean, it takes the genocide and to you know what I mean, to people go like, oh, right, we might should do something, you know what I mean. But it was, you know, like they were like, I mean, Emily in Salabar organized the bingo night.
I saw that, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Someone in, oh my God, Fiona, who runs some shows in a pub when I used to work sometimes during pandemic. Again, I forgot the name. Dave Nelson used to run it. God. See, that's alcohol, drugs, memory. Anyway, she organized the show there, so I, you know, get some like local bands to play. So there were like so many friends in Leeds and like people from, like, you know, from the tattoo world, from the bars, from the hospitality, like get in touch and organize all kind of help. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Santiago's, I think, organized something. No, I think Santiago didn't work out at the end. I think Jess was trying to organize something. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I believe Jess Better is better than the rest.
Yes,
I believe that's what I've heard.
Yeah. What's it called? Claire from Black Crown, Jonty's wife, Claire, tattooist.
Oh,
she ended up selling badges with her design for that. So that was like it was absolutely insane to watch people get involved, you know, like especially then we can kind of sit on your ass, do nothing, and people get like, oh shit, I'll help out. And that was like very wild experience as well, because I hated using social media, as I mentioned. But I kind of realized every time I post a photo of my fucking face in Ukraine, someone sends fucking $20 or $20 or 20 yen or whatever different currency. I was like, shit. so basically that's what happened. Well, kind of, it's been a ride.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story. Then.
Yeah, you know, kind of it's wild because, like, you know, from in 2022, I went the further east and the further west I ever been in my life, from Kiev to Los Angeles in a space of like 9 months. It's a weird experience.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a hell of a way to turn that depression around. But I guess it was a dark period for a lot of us. And I think especially in hospitality. I think
absolutely.
If you've got like a certain lifestyle that you have, and then suddenly it's kind of pulled away and you've got the lives that we all had during that time.
You just lost, man. Like, it's honestly like, that's another absolutely amazing thing about the pizza place I was working at, and God bless, Satan bless the owners, but they end up paying for my therapy. And basically, it literally took me therapy to go through living Leeds during pandemic. I was so heartbroken. There was already so much shit going on, and then like pandemic, losing your job. You know, I was a massive workaholic, like living on adrenaline all the time, being in a road tour or busy bars and stuff like that, and you just sitting on your ass and you got nothing to do. And all of us were like in an extremely bad situation. You watch your just friends, you know, losing their minds or health, you know, and then everyone was just completely lost what to do with themselves. You know, should I stick around? Should I stick to the absolutely dumb roles with fucking Bojo, the FFL, Ding Dong Johnson is trying to give, which, you know, which meant to keep us safe, but he's an idiot because we can't trust him, you know. I was, you know, I had my COVID I had it like really bad. Like
I personally saw it as Warsaw was kind of what was a savior moment.
This is basically
you needed to just it was
it was survival. You know what I mean? Basically, this is the
yeah.
only chance. Like I'm gonna got a place to crash for free. Like back on a sofa surfing again. For love of God, you know what I mean? I've been doing that for 20 years. I'm 40 now. Can I please never do it again? But I did that for a year. But you know, yeah, it was wild. Yeah.
I think it's been something I've seen across hospitality for as long as I've been involved. People with their mental health issues. Because I think obviously drink plays a big part of our lives in that world. But I think we're all, I think most people in that industry are quite young as well, and you're learning how to exist in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And it feels like if you're making mistakes in those situations, plus there's booze, there's going to be a lot of like sort of just anxieties in the mix, and
big time.
It's an absolute hotbed of mental health, unaddressed mental health issues.
Absolutely love this job, absolutely love this industry, and I regret nothing in my life. I regret absolutely nothing, but holy shit, 20 years, like almost 20 years behind the bar when you're working nights, which is extremely unhealthy for you already. You surrounded by alcohol, and I was extremely late to drugs, luckily for me, because I was always proud for years at the beginning of Santiago, so I was still working with like Paul and John T, and some of them guys were kind of proud for not touching, you know what I mean, the marching powder, but we're still staying up till 7 a.m. because you finish work at 4, and you're drinking, because where else are you going to socialize? And so it's alcohol, it's drugs, it's unsocial hours. You only see your friends in a loud, busy environment. Your friends coming to see you on Friday night. You don't have a chance to talk because it's loud, and you have like this constant. You're friends, but you don't have time to even talk and stuff like that. It's constant like, all right, shots, and you're kind of building your relation on shots and cans, and then you know. So the only time you can actually talk is after work or a quiet Sunday, Monday night. So you kind of end up hanging out in the bars, getting drunk again. And that definitely does not help mental health at all, you know. We were all, when you think, you know.
I think the White Fox talking.
Yes. Charlie, yes, Charlie Jameson Leeds. It's
I've not really delved too much into their show, but I've been looking at the content and giving the occasional show a listen.
Absolutely.
And I believe the entire premise of their show is mental health.
Yes.
Mental health.
It's
resilience,
it's definitely
he's that lad kind of really got into the wilderness type stuff, just getting out into
rock climbing and all of that.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
I'd seen he'd been dragging a lot of hospitality people out over the years, hadn't he?
Charlie was a doorman for many years in Leeds. You know, I mean, all the hedonist, Mojo, Wax, or.
Do you remember a night in Mojo?
Yeah.
Where was he on the door that night?
That depends which night, because there was a lot of nights in Mojo which we should not talk about in public.
We'll leave that one, but I'm pretty sure when he was. I might owe him an apology, but regardless, I'd say a biggie if you're in the industry and you've got those sort of. Even if you don't feel like you have the mental health concerns, but you've maybe got some anxieties or whatever it is, White Fox Talking, I would definitely recommend checking that out 100%. Because they really do seem to be doing some good things in the scene. So
definitely, yeah. I know Charlie just recently did a marathon for charity as well. And it seems to be like his thing.
He did the Rob Burrows marathon recently.
Yes, yeah. And I really admire shit like that these days. You know what I mean? Like we all a bunch of wasters for all these years. You know what I mean? And now ironically, that pandemic and the shit show of the world we're living at the moment kind of make a lot of us, you know, being to that. We're having a midlife crisis during basically world collapsing on our watch. So, you know, capitalism promised me a motorbike and a fucking Porsche, and all I have is a skateboard and a fucking podcast. And it's a thing now. Like, you know, we all kind of decide. So many friends stop drinking, stop doing this, doing that, doing better things. And Charlie, talk with him. You know, he got some story about mental health and how he get to this point in his life when he started looking after it, and how his adventure went, and it's really motivating. It's something. I know there's a little short video about him somewhere on the internet how he get into the wildness and how that helped him deal with his PTSD and mental health. You know, and it's very important. Like it's amazing. You know, I said like for me that was the helper's high. For someone else is the wildness. For someone else is whatever. But it's a thing which I absolutely admire that we all start talking about it.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
me it's punching children.
Oh yeah, man. Oh man, I still can't stand that. Yeah, well, like I can't stand children basically. Yeah,
I
yeah.
punch
No.
children and all the
It helps.
anxiety. The
That's
anxiety.
it helps. Yeah, I mean, they my size. I can't fight anything bigger. So I just gotta look at.
I'm going to suggest we have a little wee sup on this one because I want to crack that mash gang. I'm really fucking wanting to. But yeah, this is Northern Monks 0.5. Holy Faith.
Holy Faith.
It's a cracking looking fella.
Nice.
It smells the part.
Look.
It's an IPA.
It's an IPA. That's the thing. Like non-alcoholic beers are absolutely delicious, but they kind of got this watered down thing. I tell you.
I always say, as long as you think of it more as a watery beer.
Exactly.
I mean, a beery water.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. I have this. I pick some shifts now and then in this bar in Warsaw, and it's a small little place, like half size of Wax, and it's a tiny little place. Wow. No one but locals basically.
Yeah.
But we have a non-alcoholic gin, and it tastes like gin flavored water. But when I'm trying not to drink at all, that's my shot. I'm like, shit. And I was just laughing that I don't miss being drunk. I don't miss drinking. That's the biggest amount of non-alcoholic beers I had. I usually drink water nowadays.
Yeah.
But what's it called? I would kill for a 100% flavored non-alcoholic Jameson's. I would kiss someone in the testicle if they would come out with that. I mean, a reasonably priced because I miss the flavor of the devil's piss, shame, regrets, and man's broken dreams. I mean,
What are you saying on this one then?
that's really cool as well. They just all very good because I like the easy drinking beers.
Okay.
I'm weird because I work in a hospitality for such a long time, and I'm supposed to have an amazing taste to things, but I also have a absolutely no taste buds basically, and I appreciate good beer or good wine or whatever, but also you give me Heineken and I'm happy. You give me easy drinking IPA and I'm happy. This is like my favorite. Like usually when I go to the bar nowadays, I order beer. I'm like just easy drinking IPA. That's my thing. So love it.
Sick.
Also, I never had anything bad from Northern Monk as well. So yeah.
They're pretty fucking good as breweries go. I gotta be honest, feeling that one.
Yeah.
I think that's that one. Yeah. It's I
the
think
skateboarding one.
as you say, it's just felt a bit like a watered down beer for me.
It's tasty, but it's kind of they just. I don't know anything about process of making non-alcoholic.
I was wanting to. I'll have to chase somebody on that. Just
I think
to
I've seen something on your post as well.
Yeah, how the hell do you even do this?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Like,
how you can make it just a little bit more like beer, just a little bit.
Because I think with decaffeinated coffee, don't they like heat it or something too? There's a process you can do to get rid of the caffeine. I think it's just literally just processing it, the
like
bean.
vaporizing it. And
Yeah. Just straight away, this looks. Yeah, this is going to be the one. Just from the look of it, I can see it's got that body that maybe I was wanting. Let's find it. We got so many glasses. We'll do it. We'll do it legit.
We've got a lot to talk to and a lot of cans to go through.
There we go. So, if you were to look ahead, say 6 months' time, what do you reckon you're going to be doing?
Absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. I'm potentially I'm dreaming I might have a first offer to actually go on tour in US. It's the funny story about me being back on tour, back touring is again it's back on the Ukraine help. And
of course, you've got all these contacts now.
That's the thing. And like one day, I get an email last year. Someone got an email. It's like, hey man, I've heard you used to tour manage. I've got a band from Texas coming for the first time to Europe. Do you wanna work with them? I was like, I got your email from Scotty. I was like, I have no fucking idea who Scotty is. I'll take a job anytime. I mean, and turned out Scotty was the guy who follows me on Instagram because of the Ukraine help. So it's like, if I don't believe in karma, but my God, if that isn't karma, then I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So I worked with these guys last year. They never been in Europe before, so that was an absolute adventure to show them the bunch of cowboys, the continental way, and the old world way. And we work again last month, and we had like an official conversation that maybe if they can afford it, if they can afford me, they can try to, if we can manage to get a visa for me.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I could go and work.
Was this Charlie Crockett?
No. But the Los who hooked me up with this traveling.
Yeah.
I met him working with Charlie Crockett a few years ago. That's
okay. You had worked with Charlie though.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild because we did tour in Europe. First one was supporting JD McPherson. So like shows were like, I guess if I remember correctly, like more or less 500 people, something like that. Sometimes 200, sometimes 8.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, Charlie came over again to do his solo tour, and we played like small shows up to 100 people, I guess, if I remember correctly. And that's how I met Los, who is a part of my American adventure. But they don't work together now. But Charlie now he's selling out fucking stadiums.
So you
It's massive. I landed
you did the tours in Europe with him. You did the tours in the UK with him.
Yes.
And you were driving, or?
And I was just driving, and Los was tour managing. But because Los never been in Europe before as well,
okay.
So I was kind of helping him out, tour managing, working out a little
mix. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like small things, like, hey man, we need to get that ferry instead of that, because we might, like small things, which like which works like that. So we work in UK in Europe a couple of times, and that's how we kind of become friends. Like I love hanging out with him. After pandemic. He called me, hey man, I'm coming for like 9 days in the driver in UK and Europe, like shit yes. And then he invited me over for just like, I always with my music taste and how much Lucero and all of these bands I'm listening to, Natural Child and other bands. That was kind of a dream to go for. Go traveling. So I went traveling with Joshua, who I meant to go on tour. That kind of end up traveling US with him. And it was a wild ride because Josh travels since he was like 8 years old. So I travel. His dad was a trucker, so I travel US 14 states for like 2 months with the guy who kind of like decided to like show me all the things and tell me the stories. And he's absolutely amazing storyteller. It's like, oh, we need to pull over here. You're gonna try this Nashville chicken. It's the best in the state. I'm like, holy shit. So that was cool. Like we stay in like some wild places, like playing show in Marigold, Mississippi, which is like a town of 260 people. Wow. One sheriff with broken car, and that's about it. So
how did that show go?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone else hated that. Everyone else was like, "Oh God, no! Like this. Oh, it's Mississippi. It's fucking Barnsley. Barnsley of Mississippi."
Yeah.
But I had the best time of my life because I love seeing places like that. I make it my thing when I'm on tour or whatever other jobs like that. I'm lucky to be able to do when I travel, to just go see like the places like that. I don't give a fuck about all-inclusive holiday. I want to talk with the bouncer in some dodgy pub around the corner, because he's gonna tell me those stories. So so being places like that, it's it was insane. Like smaller towns, but also I had friends in Nashville. So they took me to some places when tourists don't usually go. And, we pull over in some diners when no one ever seen anyone sounding like me. And that was so funny because that was the best conversation starter ever. It's like, what was it? We pull over in this diner in the middle of, I don't know, summer coming back from Florida to Texas. And the whole band was ordering food, and I'm the last one. I was like, "Oh, may I have a shrimp po' boy, please?" And this woman was like, "Holy shit! How do you sound like that?" And I'm sorry about the bad accent. I can't put accent, but like a very strong, like a southern accent. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is the most beautiful thing ever." I was like, "Can I have a shrimp po' boy?" It's like she shouted the stuff from the kitchen. I was like, "Holy shit! You need to hear that guy." And going to places like that.
I've seen
po' boy is like it's a baguette sandwich, kind of like coming from like a French. I think it's very New Orleans thing. So it's kind of a lot of French influence as well. It's like a baguette with a shrimp and things. It's called po' boy from poor boy, because I was a poor people's food basically. Po' boy. So
shouts to just quickly Schnit-faced, currently down at Crowd of Favours. I know that Anthony's been rocking the po' boys. He's got an entire range.
Oh, fantastic! I need to have a little look what's going on there. Yeah, now I crossed the Mississippi twice, so I got some opinion about po' boys. So yes, like seeing places like that was mental. Like these small towns or like places like I would never end up as a tourist.
Exactly, yeah.
It's mind blowing. So the stories, from the bouncers, from the kitchen staff,
Just quickly, I want us all to have a sip of this Mash Gang. It is Mash Gang, isn't it?
Is that a
Mash Gang? Yeah.
Yes.
This is Rad Gold Tropical XPA.
Nice.
Because. Right, the tea that we had.
Oh my
earlier,
god, this is delish.
I know.
And this, what's the?
This is
right. That's a tropical bit.
Does this taste like the tea that we had earlier? Is there any element that you pick?
Oh my god, yeah, you fucking right, yeah.
What the fuck is it?
Is that? It's not pistachio, but there's
no. I was just.
No, it's not pistachio, but it's the same.
It's the taste. There's something in there. Right, so I guess we need to rewind because Kamil was after a bit of caffeine before we kicked it off. So we did some tea, Hebden tea, their creamy pistachio black tea. They've legit got like actual pistachio nuts in here.
Yeah, it's an exciting life when you're not
along with
pistachio in my tea.
Rose hip peel, dried yogurt granules.
That's why it's so creamy.
I
think that you reckon that's might be
okay.
I've got taste buds of 7 years old fucking
so these guys
cigarette and weed smoker. I can't taste it, but
okay. So this is pretty fucking crazy. They've got hop wise. They've gone with Eldorado. Oh, Eldorado Incognito and Nelson Sauvin T90. I don't know what the T90 element is, but Nelson Sauvin is. I think it's a New Zealand hop.
Okay.
Or an Australian. Antipodean, regardless. And I think it's one of those kind of like Sauvignon Blanc wine is the sort of flavour reference point. So very grapey. Very grapey. Eldorado is, I think, a stateside one, but the Incognito element is interesting. It's a liquid hop.
Okay.
So typically with the IPAs, they just have the plant. We went over this before. You have the plant, you chuck it in hot water, it does something, it gives some flavour, and that's an IPA.
Okay.
So the Cognito, they just...
Whereas the voice told me it's a bit like making fancy tea.
Okay, is it just...
So you're going to be a brewer next.
It's a very messy tea, is the Incognito. It's like kind of like an oily, liquidy thing.
Okay.
They bang it in the vats, and it's a kind of like... If you think of it in the same way as it's a liquid extract, essentially.
Okay.
It's a liquid extract hop, but it allows you to get like a really intense flavour from what it is. So I can only assume it's what is punching through there. But that is ridiculously flavourful. And the same for the flavour points, tropical fruit juice, tonka, and vanilla. Oh, I wonder if they can pick that up on the... Yep, it's on the mic. Ice cream van. That motherfucker stops right outside the house.
Right outside your house.
Yeah. Like I'm sat here working, trying to be good on my diet, and he's like rocking up, like, hey, maybe you need a 99 with a flake.
You have no idea how much trouble I've got with compulsive eating. Jesus Christ! And I'm a stoner with munchies.
Right, there we go.
Mercy.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So. Mash Gang, you've fucking nailed
You did it. That is the best today so far. That is my favorite. So
that's the best non-alcoholic thing I've tasted, outside of Sandpel, obviously.
Yeah. Oh. Could I pinch a cigarette of you in the meantime? Yes. All these 0.2 percenters are kicking in.
Do you know what? We don't even need to crack open the Striding Edge, but
oh yes, we can. I've not been buzzing much for months now. It's 0.5 is kicking.
yeah. This one's 2.8. We're about to get crazy.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I might take a t-shirt off and start 20 years old Kamil, my wake up, from the
get the lapel mic on the nipple.
Yeah. might pull naked crowd surfing again.
Gonna get real kinky with it. We'll crack this one open just to have a reference on that. But yeah, so I would say if you're looking for something on a non-alcoholic tip, Mash Gang, they've got an insane range. I believe at the moment they're actually also they're gonna try their chances at cracking the States, and I think they're they've flown to Chicago like today.
Okay. Nice.
So it's, I think I was joking with somebody online about how, like, Bush, the grunge band from the 90s,
Yeah.
they kind of, they set up their thing in the UK, then bounced to the States and became the biggest fucking band in grunge. And I said to him, well, you never know, stranger things have happened.
You never know.
Maybe they explode over there. But so I would say absolutely check Mash Gang the fuck out. And if you're in the States as well, why are you watching this? This is for Leeds people only. Fuck off. But
you never know.
But give them a look out as well. We'll piece out the tasting sesh with Northern Monk's Stredge, or Striding Edge. Stredge is ledge, as they say. Thank you, Luke. There we go. Back to Leeds, though.
Back to good old Leeds. Yes.
You're out
live
drinking.
it, love it.
Fucking hell, do you remember that?
Well, the slogan.
That was it.
Leeds, live it, love it. Oh my God.
Apparently they'd pinched it from, I think it was Tokyo.
Yeah. I think it should be here.
Tokyo had literally run exactly the same campaign.
Oh, really?
It was like Tokyo, live it, love it. And I think even the sort of the
Leeds.
look of
There is a reason why super gonorrhea started here. I think that'll be mine.
Super gonorrhea was a thing for a minute.
Patient Zero started in Leeds, and I
know her.
And I might just know a person or two who might get involved in that.
So, you're out in Leeds, you're looking to avoid the gonorrhea, but you're looking for a good time with the booze and some maybe friendly bar staff.
Yes.
Where are you heading?
Where
you're not
my
allowed to say anywhere that you have worked or are working. So
okay, that's it. Done.
Santi's off the table.
Done. That's it.
You're not drinking.
There's nowhere to go, basically. It's maybe because I was stealing jobs in so many places, as a good immigrant does. It might be because I'm a man of a habit, basically. I end up, very lucky because I work in a place which I love drinking at. And, I was working in Wilox. I love drinking at the time, that was years ago, Sandinista, Santiago's and Reform, like my three favorite places to go to. End up working Santiago's. After all the years, I kind of like, in the meantime, it's funny actually. That's where I know Sam Fish from, actually, as well, like mentioned by all the pals as well, because I know Sam from Sandinistas, because I did few shifts barbacking in Sandinista when I was still in Wilox.
Was she there prior to
She used to be, that's how I met. It's a funny thing, because I laugh at it today when I was listening to like a previous episode of Jim and everyone's like, everyone who talks about bars, it's like, from all the people you talk to so far, I'm the oldest. So I remember Sam Fish from Sandinistas when she was a bartender there. Lee Jones was still working in Reform. Chloe was working in Reform. So
Chloe, I don't know.
You know Mike?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Chloe.
That's Chloe. Mike and Chloe. Yeah.
What's the business that Chloe does now? The cakes. No.
Chloe works as a gardener, and then she does some. I think she still does some shifts in a pizza bus or a burger or whatever or something like that, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Was she doing a cake business?
Leanne
was
doing
sorry,
donuts.
Yes.
She was doing donuts. I was delivering her donuts during pandemic a couple of times as well. Yeah.
That's what connected that dot.
She was the one which lent me a van basically during pandemic. She was, hey man, like I have a van park, like if you need to make some money, like it's yours. Just fucking, I put you on insurance. just do something, make some money, man. Yeah. So I was delivering her donuts and then moving people and stuff like that. So thank you, Leanne. God bless. Satan bless.
What's her business name? I'm trying to think what it is. Cakes.
It's very weird. Like it's really.
Leanne does cakes.
I really don't know what Leanne's doing now. Like it's a very weird part of like kind of, I'm in and out of Leeds all the time. So I was away for a little bit. And, since despite social media these days, it's difficult to keep in touch with friends. Because Instagram is the easiest way to keep in touch. But I hate it at the same time because I know people on Instagram lie and also I don't like scrolling all the time and I'm easily getting hooked up on that. So I kind of sometimes don't know what my friends doing because it's just kind of like you're not keeping in touch on everyday basis. And it's funny because it really made me think now what Leanne is doing. I know.
But where are you drinking though?
Well, when I'm drinking, I forgot about that. Weed. My last vice. So when I'm drinking, so I was working in Wax. So I drink. So I was working in Santiago, drinking in Wax. End up working in Wax because I like drinking in Wax. So might as well start making money while I'm there anyway. And that's basically, I'm drinking Wax, Sala, grindhouse. Santiago's, this is it. And Santiago's, I'm getting a bit too old for that nowadays. So it's basically wax, sala, and grindhouse, and I'm rarely going anywhere else.
Okay.
I'm a man of a habit, and if someone drags me somewhere else, I'm like, hey, hell yeah, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
But I used to drink in Mojo a lot. But Mojo used to be cool. I don't really have much to do there anymore. Really, it's not exactly.
I used to fucking love working a shift in Mojo and seeing you coming in at the end, just
Oh
looking
my
up,
God.
seeing you at the end of the bar.
It
or
was
something.
it's seriously like I think we lived through golden days of Marion Street, shenanigans.
So I guess you're saying you've settled in your little 3 spots.
I have, yeah, exactly. I was never calling kind of a guy. I had a lot of fantastic nights there.
Oh yeah.
From what I remember, what someone told me. But it was kind of like never my kind of crowd.
Yeah.
And then I'm very happy that Marion Street become busier, and its whole gentrification is on one hand absolutely amazing because we don't have a dodgy clubs like Casa Loco next to Santiago's as it was 10 years ago plus with the armed police and metal detecting gates. If you
that place,
that was insane, wasn't it? And it's amazing because it's more bars and this part of town is busier and it's great. But the other part of the story is the crowd, which has changed. And you've got more people which kind of, they like to play a little bit different than we used to. And it's getting a bit tricky sometimes, Luckily, this part of town, it's not about when I'm working wax now or whatever. So it's very rare anything happens that you have to kick someone out. Actually, the crowd is nice. But the actual Marion Street, I'm like, I'm out. I'm too old for that. I'm too old, It's loud, everyone is drunk, and quite possibly visited toilet far too often for past couple hours, and it's easy to just get get stressed out, and I just don't like being there. It's just don't have anyone to talk to.
Different tact.
Yeah.
Who are your favourite personalities in the Leeds bar scene?
All right. God, difficult to say. I honestly believe with absolutely amazing bunch of
We'll
weirdos,
just run through. Just
bunch
give
of characters.
Give us a big old list.
Starting from all the old pals I used to work with Sam Fish, Lee Jones, Dave Nolson, people which like.
What's the group that Sam Fish works for at the moment? The events group.
Again, I have no idea. I'm not doing that. She's doing that. Again, I'm in and out from Leeds. I know when I was here in December, they were doing something for Christmas. But I have no idea what's it called. But like is it like called Tequila Room and stuff like that events? And I pop in a couple times to them and they're like, always amazing, but I have no idea what it's called.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a corn exchange. So like all the old stuff which are still around. I had a fantastic time working with John T. Paul, some of them guys in Santiago's, who made Santiago's what it is now after the Tiki Bar to be this rock mosher, God knows what,
So
I've seen all different stages of that place.
So Paul's down at Grindhouse now.
Paul is down at Grindhouse now.
John T has retired to North Wales.
North Wales, living his simple life in a quiet town.
Fuck, I've forgotten his band's name.
Sunliner, yes.
Sunliner.
Absolutely amazing. Oh
They're
man,
banging out
yeah,
records
seriously.
now.
I miss music scene from Leeds basically when I'm back home now.
Produced by
now.
Mr. Frank Turner, I believe.
Yes, yeah. I had a pleasure in meeting that gentleman as well a few times in Santis.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a funny story of my travels in US. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama, which is a far nicer Birmingham than Birmingham, UK, which is my least favorite place on the planet.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the planet, but definitely in UK. And Birmingham, Alabama, which apparently has a story and a half, and it's a funny place as well. But I walk into this bar, I don't remember what it's called, and I'm having a beer, and I look on the wall. There's a quote from Frank Turner on the wall, and it's so funny because I don't listen Frank enough to his albums, and I know he's doing great, and how he's a big on a scene now, and fuck yeah, well done to him. But I didn't realize how big he is. I never expected to see a quote of his songs on a wall in Birmingham, Alabama.
I think
and I know he tours US.
He's got that whole a lot of those country bands type stuff, the country crossover bands.
I think so. It's getting that.
I think a lot of his earlier tours were a lot of the in the south. He's pals with the Lucero kids.
Exactly. Yes.
Chuck Reagan.
Yeah,
just all those
exactly.
sorts
So
of
they
things.
the same. Yeah. They did like what's that? They did like this 50 states in 50 days last year or 2 years ago, something like that. But that was the funny thing. He was like, turn out Frank. It's just every time he plays in Birmingham, he always go hang out in a bar. It was like, and being lovely Leeds lad, he hung out in a bar, have a chat, and just making friends around the world. And just that was crazy how small Leeds is. And then to top this story, how small world is and how Leeds is spreading all over the place. I was in. Is it Galveston, South Texas?
Yeah.
It's like by the Gulf of Mexico.
Galveston, I think.
Galveston, might be, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just hanging out outside the venue when the artist I was hanging out with was playing, and I started talking to this guy. And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck is your accent from, son?" I was like, "Oh, god damn it!" Well, it's a funny mixture of a Yorkshire and Polski. And I was like, "All right, yeah. Do you know this guy from Leeds, Sam Barrett?" I was like, "Are you absolutely shitting me?" The stranger outside a small bar in a Galveston, Texas. Yeah. I was like, yeah. I used to do a few tours with Sam Barrett from Leeds, the serious Sam Barrett. Like,
oh, is he the Saints, the Pine Hill Saints?
Oh, I have no. What?
Something
Sam?
like that.
Sam.
No. The guy you met. Yeah,
I honestly have no idea what's his name. I would have to go through my phone and all that.
Because I've seen that they're coming to the UK in September.
I don't. That's definitely not him, because he's not playing anymore. He used to do some smaller things. I don't know.
Sam Barrett though is fucking great. And again, he's
amazing.
He's a guy that's done a lot of like getting over to Texas and doing like very small gigs.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing the work, basically.
Yorkshire cowboy.
Oh fuck yeah.
Amazing, but it's amazing. It's a beautiful thing,
I'll tell you what, a really fun, weird story with Sam Barrett. I saw him. He was skating to work one day. I was walking to work. He was skating to work. And I flagged him down. I was like, Sam, stop. Flags him down, and I'm like, congratulations. What do you mean? I've seen you've got a kid on the way. I was like, no. I'll tell you what it is. A few people have said that, and there's somebody else who is also a skater, I think, called Sam Barrett.
No way.
In the Leeds scene, who was having a kid. Yeah.
There are new kids coming to this town, and they call the same as us.
So maybe that's
being
why
cool and fun.
That's why he rocks with the serious
amazing.
Prefix. Serious Sam Barrett.
Yeah.
I'd say if you're into your sort of traditional folk stuff, traditional Yorkshire folk, Sam Barrett is the one to check out.
Lullaby of Leeds is still like my favorite songs.
Lullaby of Leeds.
Lullaby of Leeds. Yeah, it's such a I just love it. I love the video. I love that. It's quite old as well, isn't it?
And I got to give a shout as well to the Burner Band. Burner Band, Lewis Burner plays a lot with Sam Barrett.
Oh, nice.
They've played together for fucking years.
Amazing.
Lewis is a phenomenally talented local musician.
Nice.
We were in a band together about 20 years ago.
Oh, sweet.
Do
Yeah.
you remember The Plight?
Oh, yeah, I remember The Plight. Yeah.
That was his band.
I'm that old, yes.
Yeah. So the Plight came after we were in a band together, and after that, then he was doing a lot of. Him and his wife did a band with. I think it was Lewis, his wife, his sister-in-law, and his dad.
Okay.
Did a band. I can't remember what they were called.
That's a family business.
And they were really great as
Amazing.
well. And now he's gotten a new his burner band. He's kind of gotten fully got like a solid lineup now.
Okay.
They've just put out, I think last month they put out their album, The Age of the Liar, I think it's called.
Okay.
So that's online now. I think on Bandcamp you can listen to that shit for free.
Sweet. I'll have a look. Yeah.
Check out Lewis Burner, the Burner Band. Those guys are really fucking good. He's putting a lot of effort into music videos as well.
Oh, that's sweet.
And
it's kind of like a forgotten thing now. You know what I mean? Like, God.
Do you know what?
I miss MTV.
Check them out though, because they've got a real like Crockett country vibe.
Oh,
so they've got like a slide guitarist in the mix now, and it's
the steel guitar,
stand-up bass. It's seriously great band.
Amazing. I'll have a
back to the list.
I need something new to listen to, because I kind of I think it happens sometimes when you work with the bands. Kind of like, I listen to music so much when I'm on tour. I kind of like, I stop listening to music that much, and I need to get on it again, because there's so much I'm missing out.
Well, you want to get on Sebasti's little mailing list.
Oh, is it?
He's last week we had Jim on, and I'd said to him that Sebas had fired me some recommendations, and then Jim was like, "He sent me the same thing."
Oh, nice.
There's a couple of old Spanish hardcore bands, and punk bands. So he was like, "These are the ones to check out." So I feel like we need to like maybe have a Sebas says.
Sebas recommend.
Sebas recommend.
We'll have a regular
make it part of a podcast. You know what I mean? Like odd foreign punk hardcore scene bands. You know, I mean, at the end of the episode, I'll send you some Polski ones.
There we go. Every episode we'll need like a hardcore recommend, just one record from your local and from your past. Oh, I've got an alcoholic burp brewing in me. Oh, there's them fucking quads. I tell you, leave it. Don't. Oh.
That's what I was worried about.
There we are. We're still recording.
Fantastic.
Crisis averted. Yeah, if you are a quad rider and you park up around Burley Park, please go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And then die.
God, it's horrible. It's horrible.
They're
if it's not
idiots.
quads, then scooters, then all kind of things.
Yeah,
Jesus,
just fucking pricks.
Just
anyway,
don't.
back to the list. Who are you?
Back to the list.
Paul, Grindhouse. Lee.
Paul.
Lee Jones.
Lee Jones used to work in Reform, then he run or work in a God, what's the Sandinista sister bar town?
Blind Tiger?
No, the other part of town. Oh my God. Do you know which one?
Where is he now, though?
I don't know. I
okay, well, that's what I was going for.
Yeah, I think he's still. Sorry.
I want to get like.
I know.
List.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I want to get the names and where these.
Where
people
they are now. Oh God, I don't know where he's now. I guess he's doing things with Sam, and I don't know what else.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Lee in a long time as well. But like he was one of the characters who I was kind of learning a lot. He was like one of my first favorite bartenders.
Wasn't he like? Do you work in Wax for a minute as well?
He was one of the first people who worked in Wax. It was because it was Andy Lee and Marco, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And that's when they opened it. I was back in Warsaw at the time. Then I came back home to Leeds, and they were already like a few months open. I think it was Marco, Lee, and Andy, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So that's another like favorite people to hang out in the bars with. It's like like basically Wax bar stuff now. Wax always had a cool stuff as well, which is amazing because I was was Owen, was Lee, it was always nice to hang out. They're very like lovely to chat to on a quiet days. They get you drunk on a wild Friday night. But obviously we all getting old and tired and irrelevant, and we have to give the space to kids. You know what I mean? Now I'm working in Wax sometimes, just help out to hang out, and it's easy. We used to work in Santis, so it's cool to work with her again in a different place. And Sam, who is an absolute legend, Chrissy, who runs the place, who is absolute hero as well. So Tess now, so like just a different set, but they always have a really lovely staff. It's always lovely to hang out with.
Yeah.
Salabar saying like everyone always wants. It's just nice to walk in, have a chat with people, and so we got Emily running the place, who's being a star with all the little DJing nights and shows and ABBA cover bands and all of that stuff. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And all the Halloween with X-Ray Cat Trio of them guys, all these bands, which is like always good fun.
It's fantastic music scene in Cella.
Yeah, big time, exactly. I did some shifts there as well, so I listened to some jazz and funky stuff as well. Yeah, it's a great place. So everyone working there as well. Luke, who I love to nerding with, playing board games as well. Then Canteen, the sister place of Wax and Sala in Chapel Allerton. Little pizza place, that's where Mike works, Okay. So that's a lovely place as well. Always cool to hang out there, see Mike, get some good pizza. If you in Chapel Allerton, that's always a plug.
This is bonkers. This Mash Gang one.
I'm a big fan of all of them basically. But went to see Owen the other day as well.
Against the Grain. Against the Grain in Bramley.
Place. And that was so cool because like when I was listening to episode with Owen today, and when he was telling the story with how he started in Santiago's, I was like, oh God, I was there when he started. And that was funny, like kind of watching Owen being the loveliest, but the most professional, amazing,
Oh yeah.
So that's such a character working in Santos. Like, oh my God, what the fuck you doing to yourself, pal? You poor fucker. But he did a great job. Yeah, learned some things in Santos, do other stuff, and his place now is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And
I think it's not the easiest of spots to get to. It's like,
yes, kind of like a destination spot, but once you get there, it's amazing.
Yeah, you can really like park up for an afternoon there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, easily. Like good beers. I mean, good vibes. Just everything you want. Have a one designated driver. Because it's a big parking spot, and also
ridiculous amount of parking space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can go. don't drink and drive, but yeah, you can definitely drive there. Yeah, it's can't think of like anyone now on the top of my head who else was like such an influence for me working here as well, because there's so many people over years which kind of like not in the bar scene anymore. You know, I remember one of the first people who influenced me working in the bars was this guy called Adam in Santiago.
Oh,
who always like he's like, I don't think he even like kind of
Adam Wilson.
No, absolutely no. It's like completely. I mean, people kind of disappeared years ago. I think he like ended up being a postman after that, then or firefighter or something, like moved somewhere else. But he was absolutely amazing. Except he was always working flip-flops, which was pretty like, motherfucker, that's against any form of health and safety. You know
You're gonna get some glass in there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so you know, there's kind of like, you know, again, I've been here like working in bars like almost 2 decades. It's like it's a new generation as well.
Yeah,
with like all the lovely pals. So,
you'll feel old working in that fucking scene.
Oh man, seriously, I did. I hung out in Wax for the past couple of weeks on a weekend, and I'm just like, I'm tired of everything. Like it's aching in the places. I mean, I didn't know exist. It's but yeah, it's cool that, you know, there's like gym, you know, all the like lot of younger bartenders which are kind of like, you know, taking care of the place. It's still nice to go hang out in the places.
I would say as well, whilst
you
you're
walk in and feel safe and homey.
Whilst you're in Leeds, keep an eye out for some gigs as well, because the punk scene in the city has really been sort of exploding recently.
It's
there's
definitely like, something going on.
There's like a kind of a, not a secret, but like there's a under the radar spot in Armley that's been getting a lot of really good gigs.
Someone told me something about it. What's it called again?
It goes under a lot of names. I think Damaged Goods. But then they just have all sorts of weird names for the place.
Well, there's a lot of cool venues.
But then even Boom has been getting a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah,
they've just booked Callous Cowboys, if you know those guys.
No.
It's like they're kind of like a bit tech metal-y.
All right.
Very weird. They got like a piano, violinist in the mix, and it's very silly, very silly.
It's one of these things like I'm never in Temple of Boom like enough.
Or just Boom now.
Boom. Is it Boom now?
It's just Boom. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
that's how
you move away and they change.
It's I've been there last time in January to see Black Flag. My pal Carl hooked me up last minute with the guest list.
Greg on vocals?
I think so. Yeah. Kind of like a last minute thing. I was like, fuck yeah. So that was cool. And before that, I only been there like maybe a couple of times. Once of them was John T. and Claire's wedding, which was insanely wild wedding in Boom. With the smoked barbecue smoked kebab included as well. The catering was first class.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm never there enough. But it's a cool place. It's got this DIY punk, very Berlin kind of a vibe, you know, bit kind of, you know.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, the squat scene in Europe is like it really like has a stamp on the music scene of each city. You go to each city and it has. If not their squat, they'll have like a network.
There's always some kind of DIY small thing.
Germany was ridiculous for it back in the day.
Know, some squats you playing are just
insane,
bonkers. My two favorites was one star was from the Switzerland. I want to say it was Zurich, but I'm not sure. And we pull over, and it's like a outskirts of a city. And they come like, oh hey guys, how's it going? Like, yeah, sorry, it's only a squat and stuff like that. And we look around, it's like, if that's how the squat likes look in Switzerland, holy shit! I mean, have you seen Beeston? My God, this is like the best place ever. Nice, clean, tidy, absolutely amazing.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I kind of learned the ropes as to what a squat is in Leeds, and so like there was back in the day there was a spot on Meanwood Road, 120 Rats.
Okay.
And it was like fucking rats down there. It
was
like
that's the difference,
I got shit sinuses, so like when I go into a squat, it would take me days for my sinuses to get back to normal. Then like started doing bands and would play gigs in squats. Because I was the vocalist, so you're breathing.
So you're breathing all this shit,
Oh, it was fucking horrendous. Then we'd go on tour and you'd be playing these squats in Europe. Even like most of them were good. There was one in Austria that was pretty fucking bad. There was like dogs walking around shitting everywhere.
Yeah.
There was one in France that was to use the toilet. I won't even go into it, but
Yeah, it was bad.
it was bad. They were fun.
We did couple like that, you know. These places exist as
For
well.
the most
you know.
part, though, I would say,
Yeah.
and especially I think in Germany, there was one that we went to in Berlin that was just insane. The place it's been taken over, as you said, the one you went to.
Yeah. ADM in Amsterdam, which was just
I hadn't
magical.
heard of that, but yeah, but this
Google
one.
Google it. There's
Yeah.
a video on YouTube, they used to like run a lot of festivals. It's a massive,
Site.
outdoor space, old
Yeah,
docks
yeah,
when they build ships. And so the main building is the old, I don't know what they call shipyard, whatever.
Was there like a dome, like a crystal dome?
I
involved?
think so, yeah. There was a lot of weird
I
structures.
I went to a party there once. I was in Amsterdam. It was
they
a
were
friend.
like a festival full of circus tricks and
Yeah.
shit and stuff.
It was a pal of mine. He'd made a film and I'd helped with the subtitles. So I went across to Amsterdam for the premiere, and then another friend of mine. Cause there was a band that I knew from the Netherlands, and they all went off and did their own thing. So I'd go across and hang with all of them, and so like one of the guitarists, Maurice, he was the filmmaker. One of the other lads then was more of a party kid, so he then took me to this rave.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, the first time I'd tried MDMA, and he was I remember him saying
that one.
I remember him just saying, "Put a little bit of this on your tongue; it's going to be great." And
Yeah.
basically, we'd already been
It was.
to a party in this crystal dome, and it was probably the wee hours of the morning, and we basically spent the next 5 hours dancing to a speaker in the boot of a car. And it was just like me and him, and maybe a couple of other people. Then I wandered off at some point, fell asleep in a building yard, then got up, somehow got over the docks back into main Amsterdam, and got to the film premiere was at like 10 that morning.
Yeah.
And managed to get to like the cinema where this premiere was, and it was a big deal because the guy, one of the stars in this film was like a Dutch soap star.
Okay.
That he'd gotten into this thing. So like there was a lot of press there and what have you, and I was rocking up fucked at 10 in the morning. Then my pals took me to fucking Maastricht. I think we went to Maastricht for a poker night then.
Nice.
But yeah, that was, when you're in your 20s, you can do all of these things. You can sleep on a building site.
You don't care. You
Yeah.
really don't care. You know what? Like, I get to like kind of. I'm not picky when I'm going through these days. I don't give a fuck. I stay in travel lodge if I have to. I've been lucky to do some tours when I was staying in, a few £100 a night hotels and have a champagne on the ride there. I stay in the squats and I don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to the levels like, can I please get some kind of nutritious food and some kind of bed which isn't like no bed bugs. That's how you know what I mean. And I don't mind as long as it's fun. But like when you do this DIY thing, it's so much fun in your 20s and all that. And then, but at some point, it's like I just can't. I just cannot pull it anymore. We did this show once when I was on tour with a guy called Moses Sumney, and that was pretty posh tour. And I stay in like one of the nicest hotels I ever stay in ever. It's like had a hotel next to London Eye when we play in London, like a few £100 a night room, like absolute wow. That was a tour with champagne on a rider, and we play in this venue, and I believe it's Berlin, maybe Hamburg, and again it's so we play in Leeds on that tour, and we play in a Grand Theatre. We play in some old church in somewhere in Netherlands. In Germany, we're driving, and it's like this really sketchy old construction site, kind of like I don't know, it's kind of look like an old building from 40s pre-war kind of massive place, some kind of factory which been kind of slowly trying to being gentrified, but it looks really sketchy. And I was like, we're gonna get fucking killed there. Like, what the hell is going on? And turned out there was some kind of, I guess, like college of music alike building when I have like insane acoustics and all of that stuff. And this was the little secret kind of venue. That's where all the, like that's where this kind of music, this kind of people playing playing shows because it was all about acoustic and things like that. Like guy, got incredible voice.
yeah.
It's different than a hardcore stage scene when you're just shouting the fuck out of lungs. And so all these acoustics were extremely important. So that's like a sketchy looking place, but turned out that was like one of the nicest, the most amazing venues I ever witnessed in my life. So it happens,
and that's Cedric's world now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cedric is touring with all sorts of like seriously high level acts, and they need the good sound. So the venues he's working now.
So they're picking different venues for this.
But it's weird. Like he's a Santis alumni. But I think he got into like the sort of the sound production that he's doing now, for these big bands.
Yeah.
But he was doing it. Did he pick it up just from running the board in Santis for gigs?
You know what? I don't know exactly the Cedric story. I know he was definitely learning. It wasn't just Santiago's. He was definitely, I don't know if he's doing some degree or something, whatever. I don't know exactly, but he was definitely learning. He started in Santis. We did a tour together once when he was doing merch and helped me driving as well. And
do you know what? Interestingly, the band that I mentioned from the Netherlands. He's currently touring with one of the guitarists.
Oh, amazing!
He's in a band called Gold with 3Ds.
I've just met him in Warsaw because he was on tour with
Gold and band from Japan. Is it
Mono?
Mono.
Yes, Mono. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's yeah.
There we go. Nicole does their booking.
Really?
Do their booking.
Well, yeah, sorry.
Oh, really?
I work for the people.
The freelance.
Amazing. It's a small world because my friend was on
yeah.
tour. My friend from Warsaw was on tour with them a few years ago as well. It's like
brilliant.
it's you just keep crossing when you're doing this job. You kind of keep crossing.
Because when I saw they were doing that tour and I'd seen Cedric was on it, I was like, oh my god, you're going to be doing that.
Yeah.
I'd given a shout to the lad in Gold. I was saying, oh, you're going to be touring with Cedric. Cedric's the best. And he said, oh yeah, we've crossed paths previously, and but point being that Cedric now is like. Seeing some of the shit that he's working on, it's like doing like just insane sound in cathedrals and things. And
that's his little niche thing. He ended up doing a lot of these kind of metal bands. I know like we did this tour together, and that was like one of the shittest tour I ever fucking done in my life. And I was just doing merch about. He was kind of starting that, and then doing later on. It's absolutely amazing to see him doing some cool shows. I know he's doing this tour now. That's Mono tour, and they're doing like 30 days without day off. I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, as a driver, I kind of refuse to do shit like that ever again. Like, I've done things like that. I've driven from Rome to London in one go once, and you start seeing things on the side of the road, and
it's not good,
no show, no music, nothing in your life is worth risking that bullshit. So 30 shows in a row, I'm like, I appreciate hard working, and I know how the budget works on tours, and I get it, but also, fuck that. Absolutely fuck that,
I think Cedric, the plan is hopefully when he stops in Leeds in the future, I want to get him on the show because
he migrated again. He's in Berlin now, but I'm sure he'll be back at some point.
He's always on tour. So
he's always exactly, and as sad as it is, there's more bands which kind of don't want to tour UK anymore. You know what I mean?
I'm seeing a lot of that.
It's
sad. It's understandable.
It's very sad. Well, we did it to ourselves. Well done. But we voted for that. Yay! Well, I fucking didn't I?
I fucking didn't vote.
Yeah. But you always kind of end up touring UK as well. So kind of that's what happened last summer when I was here for a couple of weeks. So I'm sure Cedric will swing by one day as well. Have a couple of days. Got some stories. He's another fantastic character from this beautiful city.
But I reckon that's probably about as good as place as any to piece it out.
Can do as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I really appreciate it, pal.
Fuck yeah.
Parade of grafters. Your teeth and no! Ding, ding.